Welcome back. Well, across the country, farmers are fighting back against giant renewable energy programs. This is becoming a full-scale revolt, and it's been driven by the belief that the rights of people in the bush have been simply or largely ignored. Green energy companies come into town under the cover of darkness, make deals with landowners, and inevitably turn neighbours against each other.
Yeah, and one such example of this is in the town of Bookham, about half an hour away from Yass in New South Wales, a town of about 100 people who are taking on billionaire Andrew Twiggy Forrest, who is proposing to build more than 90 turbines, each of them 270 metres tall.
Derek Bush is a farmer from Bookham and he joins us now. Derek, thanks for your time. Firstly, can you just start by giving people a bit of a brief history about this project, when you found out about it versus when Twiggy's company Squadron started their work here?
So, good evening, guys. Look, Squadron started working in the Bookham project about 4 years ago. We found out as a community back in, I think it was October 2024. So if you weren't part of the deal, the inner circle, you actually didn't know. Suddenly a map was plopped in front of us which had a heap of turbines on it.
I mean, this is just extraordinary. I mean, 270-metre turbines are just ridiculous. And for context, that's the size of Barangaroo in Sydney.
Yeah.
What are your key concerns about this?
Oh, look, it's what it's going to do to the community more than anything else. Look, obviously we're going to be impacted greatly with noise, visual, the environment. These projects go for 25 years. I feel the stress on our community is going to be pretty huge. The impacts, as far as being so close to houses and homes, how can that be good for any rural community? Like, seriously.
Derek, is it uncomfortable, or is it becoming uncomfortable with your neighbours and the people that have done these deals, which are very lucrative, for 20 years to host the turbines on their property, and didn't brief you about that from the beginning? What's it doing for local communities?
Oh, it's a really hard question, James, because we all live here together. This is a generational farming area. Like, everyone's lived here for a very, very long time. I've tried to be in touch with all of my neighbours several times over this. I get a little bit of feedback, nothing nice. I've had 2 good phone calls from very, very close friends of mine who are neighbours explaining their position. That's perfectly okay. Look, it's a tough one. My 82-year-old neighbour today, I helped him load some sheep in the back of a vehicle. Do you think we talked about turbines? No, we talked about the weather.
And this is half of the problem, because you're having to talk about turbines, you're dealing with this, when, I'm sure you just want to get back to your day job.
Day job, yes, absolutely. Look, the pressure that comes from all of this is pretty immense. Like, I'm not media trained. I don't spend my day sitting in front of a laptop. I'd much rather be outside doing stuff. Having to go through government reports and work out, what an EPS is and an EIS is and everything else that goes with it, and scoping reports, which are 140 pages long. I really don't enjoy this very much at all. But to fight back and try and get some recognition and work with a company like Squadron, you actually have to, cross the T's and dot the I's, because otherwise you actually go nowhere. They're just going to pull it straight over the top of it.
And the problem is, Derek, for this part of New South Wales, the Yass Valley, there's, as I understand, 700 wind turbines that are either being constructed or being proposed, and the local council has said, we've done our heavy lifting, no more. I've been to your property, I've seen this. You can see turbines from your property already. You've been surrounded. And based on this deal, you've been offered $2,000 per turbine within 1.7 to 3.4 kilometres, and then $1,000 per year for every turbine after that. For people that say that you should take the money, what's your response to that? What are your major concerns to living this close to a wind turbine?
Can't we just live in peace? Like, if we had proper regulations where the setbacks actually reflect the height of the towers, we could probably get around this and we'd live with it okay. But, a 1.7 kilometre setback is ridiculous. Luckily, I'm only at 2 kilometres. It's a big difference, isn't it? But if actually this came back to a 5 kilometre setback, the turbines are now double the height of what they used to be with a 2 kilometre, 1.7 kilometre distance from your house. It's absolutely ridiculous. The size of the generators is much bigger. Squadron won't give us a recommendation on what sort of noise levels we're going to get because of the bigger capacity generators. it really is not a great situation to be in at the moment.
No, it doesn't seem like it's a great situation at all. Derek, I want to ask you about this net zero push because, of course, I mean, we've heard it from you, farmers are going to suffer. You've not just the wind turbines that are going up, you've got transmission lines being put on your property. If you live in Victoria, you could be fined $12,000 just for getting, saying no to a transmission worker coming onto your property. There's a push particularly from the Nationals to abolish net zero 2050. Do you agree with that proposal?
Look, not that long ago, I thought net zero wasn't such a bad idea, but the more you read, you just go, why? What is this all about? People are sending me stuff constantly, only because my face is out in the media a little bit. So all I do is read, look at podcasts and go, oh, no, that's interesting stuff. Net zero will never be obtained. There's no chance of that. We're always going to have coal, or nuclear is going to come along very soon. Honestly, yes, I can lay my cards on the table and say, look, just don't worry about it. Let's move on to something more important. Let's fix some roads. Let's actually do something for communities instead of putting all these turbines up that are going to cost billions of dollars. Like, how much is the Bookham project worth? I don't know. Is it, $1.5 billion? Is it going to last for 20 years and they're going to all fall down and the concrete's still going to be left in the ground and everyone's going to have these massive 6-metre roads all over their property that's going to encourage erosion? Our community's a little bit fractured now. What's it going to be like when all that happens? We start getting disintegrating blades, our birds and bats all disappear because of the turbines have cut them to pieces. Great.
Yeah, no one ever warns you. The left never warn you about the environmental damage. You never hear that. That's half the problem. Derek Bush, it's been really great to catch up. Thank you so much for your time on the show this evening. Really appreciate it. And I know you've been doing some wonderful work on this, but I mean, Derek is just one example of a frustrated farmer.
Well, and farmers don't have a spare second in their day. They don't go to brunch on a Sunday and get smashed avo on toast. They are working around the clock. Their families are. Every cent they own is tied up to their land. They don't have superannuation. So they've suddenly had to become renewable energy experts. But I make the point that this will not happen unless these green energy companies actually start to compensate people properly. I mean, they don't even get a cheaper energy bill out of this. You've got this nearby, you'd say, okay, you've got free energy for the next 20 years as a result. No cheaper energy bill, $1,000 or $2,000 a turbine, it's just not enough. So they've got to start doing more. It happens overseas in Norway, in places like that. The community must be properly compensated. If we don't do that, we will never get to where the government is going.
No, I completely agree with you. It's absolute madness.